Welcome to another Inside Lansing. Today's guest is Jim Garrett, president of the Chicago Southland Convention and Visitors Bureau. Jim, thanks for being here today.
Neil, I'm delighted. Thank you for the invitation.
Absolutely. Some people are probably watching and wondering, what is the Chicago Southland and Conventions Visitor Bureau?
Well,
could you give us kind of an overview of who you are, where you're from?
Sure. We're the Chicago Southland Convention and Visitors Bureau. We are headquartered in Olympia Fields. We are the official destination marketing and management agency for the entire Chicago Southland region. We have 62 municipalities that we work with, and our job is to bring in conventions, trade shows, sporting events. Our geographic area, we have about 400 square miles. Our area is from, if you can envision, Midway Airport, south to Peatone, and from the Indiana border to New Lenox. And again, our job is we work with all of those communities and to bring in those conventions and trade shows. So that basically the bottom line is when people come into the area, they're spending money in our hotels and our restaurants and our retail outlets, buying gas, and that's creating economic impact for the region. And that's why it's so vitally important to our region.
In essence, you're looking at tourism here. You're focused on tourism. Why do we need you for that? Why is that important that we have an entity like you to take care of that?
Well, because primarily it creates jobs, and that's important. In the state of Illinois, we have just over 437,000 jobs, people that are employed in the industry. And those are in hotels, restaurants, retail outlets, service stations, transportation, all collectively working to bring those visitors to town. So when they're in town, they have a positive experience, and we hope that when they leave, they'll say, hey, I had a great experience. I can't wait to come back, and I'm going to tell somebody else to come in. And we get repeat business that way as well. And the competition for business is pretty keen. We have 37 other certified convention bureaus in the state of Illinois that we compete with. In addition to that, we have other state association and convention bureaus that we compete with, St. Louis, Cincinnati, and communities like that we're competing to try to attract business away from them and bring them in the area.
And I'm sure someone's watching, they're wondering right now, maybe like, this is great and all, but how are you guys funded? And who do you report to?
Yeah, well, first of all, we're funded through a state tax. The state of Illinois collects, they generate about $44.3 billion in revenues for the state of Illinois. The number of jobs are about, as I mentioned, 437,000 jobs, but it also generates $6.3 billion in tax revenues. And those tax revenues are critically important because for every dollar those people...
Over $6 billion.
That's with a B, yes, and it's pretty important. Basically, it reduces the homeowners' taxes just under $2,000 a year. So that's substantial. Otherwise, if you didn't have tourism, those individuals would be paying a little bit higher taxes for all the service they receive from the communities in the state of Illinois as well.
That's amazing.
It is.
A lot of people probably don't realize that that's really helping out the little guy, really.
Right. And you ask, how we're funded. We receive about $1.3 million from the state of Illinois. And here's a very simplified way of explaining it. Let's say, for example, somebody comes into town, stays overnight in a hotel. And the hotel, let's say it's $100. Of that, on top of that, there's a 6% state tax. That state tax goes to Springfield, sort of like in a bucket up there. They generate somewhere under $500 million in that bucket. Then we have 20 communities that have hotels. We have an agreement with those hotels whereby we receive one of those percent. Say, for example, a community is collecting 5% local tax. They keep 4, we receive 1. So we receive all these little 1% coming in from all of these communities. It generates about $625,000. So that's in our pot. So then the governor says, hey, Jim, how much money do you have in your pot? I say, well, we have about $625,000. He says, well, I'm a good guy. I'm going to match that. So overall, we actually receive about $1.3 million from the state. Then we have membership and we have other income from various components. So we have about a $2.3 million budget. Now, that vacillates from year to year. Sometimes a little higher, sometimes it's lower. When we had COVID, that number reduced substantially, but now it's back up to levels that are much more competitive for us to be in the industry.
So there's a lot of different avenues that you work with, and one is hospitality product development. Could you talk a little bit about that and what that is?
Sure. We work with all of our communities. For example, if there's a community that is working to bring in a new hotel, potentially maybe a sports development project, we like to be at the table with the village to convey to that potential developer how we can assist and help that development accelerate and grow. For example, the Ho-Chunk Sports Facility in Linwood, great facility. We work very, very closely with them. We bring a lot of business to that facility. And when that facility fills up, those people are looking for a place to stay overnight. Well, Lansing is the closest hotel facilities in the area, and that's the reason why it's so important, because those people stay over, work or go to their event there, they stay overnight, they're eating in Lansing restaurants, they're buying gas from Lansing. All of those things are important components that make it all work. We also attend, one of the things that we do in attracting those sporting events, we go after sporting events, conventions, trade shows, seminars, and so forth, motor coach business. And one of the things that we do, we attend 27 industry trade shows throughout the United States. That gives us an opportunity to meet one-on-one, face-to-face with people that make the decisions on where their event, sporting event, is going to be held. We talk to them, we convey to them the value of what we have, and then we bring them in, do site tours, and hopefully we can convert that to make the convention, our sporting events, happen in the Southland. And then once we get them here, we hope that we can create such a great environment for them that they'll come back next year, year after year, year after that. So it's an ongoing process that never stops.
Now, you also recently had your annual meeting for the year.
Right.
And you premiered your destination video.
Yes, we did.
I'd like to take a look at that real quick and then maybe discuss a little bit about that.
Absolutely.
So how did the annual meeting go?
It went really well. We had just under 300 attendance. The governor was planning to come, but unfortunately at the last minute something came up. He wasn't able to join us. However, he was nice enough to produce a video, sort of a welcome video, and it was very complimentary about the Convention and Visitors Bureau. And we had the State Director of Tourism that came in and make a presentation that gave an overview of the state direction and what their plans are for the future. Talked about the economic impact of the numbers, and it was a fun time. Actually, it was the first time in about 4 years that we've had our annual meeting, primarily because of COVID.
Yep.
We had to kind of put a halt on that, and so we kicked it back in this year. We'll have it again next year, so we're looking forward to that.
Maybe we'll be able to attend this year and say hi to you guys.
We'd love for you to come. By the way, the video, I just want to acknowledge the video. I want to compliment our marketing and communications department. Those are the guys that really put this thing together, and we'll be updating that periodically with new venues that come online and things like that.
Great. Now I know we have our Lansing residents watching and other residents in the area.
Mm-hmm.
What offerings does the Chicago Southland Convention and Visitors Bureau have for them?
Well, first of all, we encourage them, for example, to go online, which is visit chicagosouthland.com, or contact our office, where we have a lot of publications that outline a lot of the things that the village has to offer. One of the neatest things, and I'm so proud of what the Mayor Patty has done, and Dan Podgorski and Ken at Fox Point, is the creation of an incredible music venue. And one of the things that we do is we promote and market that venue for all the various music activities that are going to be taking place over there. And it's been an incredible asset to not only Lansing, but also the entire Chicago Southland region, because we promote that throughout the entire region to encourage communities, individuals from other communities to come in and experience a great event. We also, believe this or not, on Interstate 8294, many people don't realize that there are no signage for hotels, restaurants, or service stations, which is very frustrating. So one of the things that we did, we provide at no cost to the village, we put a commercial billboard up there that basically identifies hotels, restaurants, and service stations on that billboard, with the intent, when somebody's driving down the interstate, they see the billboard, it says next exit, and the intent is to say, hey, we got stuff, get off. I don't care if they want a hotel, a restaurant, or buy gas. We want them to get off and spend money here in Lansing, and that's what it's about.
That's great. I mean, people need to know that this is the contributions you make to help our communities out.
Right, and we have a very, very close partner relationship with the village, and we meet with them once a year. If they have ideas or suggestions that we can help to elevate the value and visibility of the village, we want to have that communication going on back and forth, so we know what they want us to do, and if it's within our reach to do that, we do that. One of the things that we do, we have a grant program. For example, when Lansing puts on an event, the village can come to us and we can provide grant funding to support for helping them promote and market that particular event. And that's a win-win for everybody.
Absolutely. So you talk about the Chicago Southland, and obviously a big part of that, I think, to most people would be Cook County.
Yep.
And have you been working with Cook County, and what dynamics have you been working with them?
Well, we work very closely with Tony Prinkwakel and her staff, and 2 years ago they initiated a program called Cook County Tourism Alive, and they provide funding for us that helps grow our funding, that helps make things happen. Some of the things, as I mentioned, we put up the billboard for Lansing. The funding from that, those dollars help make that happen. We just put up a new sign at Fox Point, which was really pretty cool. It's a 3D dimensional Fox Point sign, and things like that. And we, of course, work with all of our hotels. If they need funding support to bring a piece of business in, we provide incentive funds to make that happen. So it creates a win-win dynamic for everybody.
Jim, I'm sure we could sit here all day and talk for a while, but I want to thank you for being on the show. And before we do go, I want to ask just a couple more questions.
Sure.
If a business wants to get involved with the Bureau, how might they go about that?
They can pick up the phone, they can call us. We have a membership program that offers a lot of benefits to them. They would be included in our visitor guide. They'd be on our website. They'd be exhibited at our Visitor Information Center at the Oasis. And that's another thing, too. We've had the Visitor Information Center Oasis operational for probably 25 years now. So if anybody from Lansing wants to just pick up some information, they can go to the information center there, pick up information on all the communities in the Chicago Southland. And I do know that they can pick up information at Village Hall and contact our office, but most importantly, go to our website, which is visit ChicagoSouthland.com. And if anybody has suggestions or ideas that can help us grow our organization and further elevate the value and visibility of Lansing, please give us a call. We're open to all kind of ideas. We're trying to do that all the time.
Well, again, I just want to thank you for being on the show. It's the first time having you, so I hope you had a great time on here.
Neil, it was wonderful. Thank you.
And we look forward to having you next year.
Sounds wonderful. Thank you.
And thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on Inside Lansing.